Hello, everybody. Welcome to TJKshares, one-on-one with TJK. Today, we are excited to have a powerhouse in a woman in this room on the channel where we inspire people to learn and relearn some of the things. We bring you transformational people who have done amazing work in this world, so you can learn from them and we can learn together. I am excited today to host Dr. Nataliey Bitature.
Generations to come.
Many times when I try to describe people, I end up messing up. So welcome, my friend Nataliey. Please share with our audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Jackson. Thank you so much for having me. It's my big pleasure. It's an honor to be featured here on your show. I support what you do. It's always important to learn and learn, keep learning.
That's right.
So I support that notion. My name is Dr. Nataliey Bitature. I am the Chief of Staff at the Simba Group of Companies based in Kampala, Uganda. Simba Group is my family business that's been in existence for over 30 years. We work across different sectors: hospitality, real estate, telecom, media, energy, education. And basically is what I like to describe as chief of problems. So I move between the different companies and the board and the chairman to make sure problems are being solved every day. As you know, every business has challenges. So that's how I spend my time. I'm also the advisory board chair for Save the Children Africa. I sit on the board for Uganda Property Holdings, which is a government board for commercial real estate. I sit on the board for Kiel Business School, which is my alma mater in the UK. And Makerere Innovation Incubation Center. These are some of the boards I volunteer for, and Start Hub Africa, which is an accelerator program for young entrepreneurs. I also have 2 companies of my own that we incubate here at Simba Group. One is Her, which is a women's platform where we are a community for women to network, learn, grow, support, sell their products, learn career skills, students. Basically, a one-stop shop for anything a woman wants to know about working and earning and making her own life. And I also have an education platform that we recently launched this year called Uketa, which is like Coursera, but a Ugandan version, so that the courses are relevant and affordable, accessible to the young market that we have here.
Very good. A woman of so many talents and so many businesses. How did growing up in a family of business shape your decision to become a business person?
You know, I don't think I ever decided to become a business person.
Yeah.
It's just always been part of my life. So growing up with parents who are entrepreneurs, whatever you see as a child, you think is normal. And because all my family members worked in businesses, in our family businesses or had their own businesses, I didn't really have people who had careers. I think I had 2 aunties when I was a child who had actual jobs. Everyone else in my life worked in business.
Oh, yes.
So it was just normal. And so from the time I was maybe 10 or 11 at school, I would always be having a business service or a product, or we're selling this, make a margin on that, whether it's lollipops or sandwiches, or you're providing matchmaking services. I was always trying different things, and it was just common in our household. So I think it's really helped me because it makes me be action-oriented and to know that I can solve my own problems. Something I realized much later in life is a lot of people wait for others to solve their problems, but because I'm in a business household, my parents always had to solve the business's problems. So we were also raised that way. When you have a challenge, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to figure out a solution, not to go to someone and. So I think that has been the most useful aspect of growing up in a business family for me.
Very wonderful. You've not only done business in Uganda, you've studied abroad, you've become a doctor, and you were recently recognized in Forbes 30 Under 30. A huge recognition. I've followed so many people who have done that. Tell us a little bit how that felt and how that network has helped you in decision making, but also running your businesses.
It was a big surprise, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was very shocked and honored. My parents were very excited. I'm not married, and you know, weddings in Uganda are such a big deal, but for my parents, that was like the wedding. Her business efforts. So it was very unexpected. Someone had nominated me and not told me. So I just got informed by Forbes when they were doing the vetting. And it has made a huge difference. I think because it thrusts you into this limelight, people expect something of you. It sort of opens doors for you, the community, the network, the events you attend. I got to attend the Forbes 30 Under 30 annual conference in Boston, actually, which was so much fun. You get to meet so many people, so many companies, so many innovators. They put us in a WhatsApp group for Africa. So I got to meet all the other Africa Forbes 30 Under 30s and some of the alumni. So it's really a blessing. One of my friends was on the same list as me, but she's an actress, and she's like, my life has not changed. But for us, Forbes is like the Oscars. So my life changed a lot. It really also pushed me to do better and expect more from myself. I'd kind of always been doing businesses and working in my family and trying different other businesses, but Forbes is a wonderful acknowledgement. It's kind of it validates all the work you've been doing, because I think as entrepreneurs, there's so many late nights, early mornings, hard moments where it's just you and your struggles alone. And to see your work being recognized and appreciated, to see young people learning from your work. The company that I started that was recognized by Forbes, one of the pitches I did for them is watched a lot on YouTube. And several people have told me they use that pitch to teach young startups how to pitch. So small things like that make me feel like it's worth it. As much as you lose some of your privacy and you become this sort of public figure and people demand a lot and expect a lot, it's worth it because of the impact.
You touched a little bit about how young people are inspired. Give advice to young entrepreneurs. Somebody's sitting in Karamoja right now watching this going, oh, Nataliey did this because the family already had business. I know you do this already. You have events all over the country, all over the world, where you go and inspire people. So please share a little bit with young entrepreneurs who are struggling to start a business, might not have the background you have, but they can do it. Do tell them how to do it.
I think anyone should be able to start a business. It's about starting from where you are. Yes, I started with an advantage, but I still also have to put in the work and the time.
That's right.
So I think with young entrepreneurs, the advice I constantly give is you need to be resilient and you need to be practical. Don't wait for the perfect day. When I make this much money, when I have this much capital, when someone invests in me, when I finish this degree, or when I get this level in my job. Too many people wait for a specific day, and life is not perfect. There's never going to be a perfect day or a day where the business doesn't have challenges. Start where you are. Start small. Start with one piece of product or providing a service to one customer, because people have so many good ideas, but they're not starting. You need to be action oriented. And I think the other piece of that is resilience, because there will be tough times. Many people will tell you no, or that you can't do it, or that it's not good enough, or they don't want your product or your service, but you have to be the one to keep pushing. That's what it is to be an entrepreneur. Anyone can have a good idea, but to be an entrepreneur means you're pushing every day. You're getting customers, you're speaking about your business, you're trying different things, you're putting yourself out there. It's not a passive lifestyle. And I think that's where you need to put in the work. But I encourage entrepreneurs because it's the most rewarding, it's always interesting, it's never boring. There's so much potential for what you can do, the people you can employ, the products you can design, the ideas you can have, and to watch your idea come to life is incredibly rewarding. So I would encourage an entrepreneur, wherever you are, whatever little you have, start there, start with something, start where you are, and just keep moving one step at a time.
Very good. And with that, entrepreneur, you are on all the time, 24/7. So how does Dr. Nataliey balance professional life and personal life?
The first one to say that I have it a bit easier. I'm not married, I don't have children, so I don't have to carry that with me in my work. Okay. But I do think COVID showed me a lot about balance. My life was very much about work. And in the first 2 lockdowns where we couldn't work at all, where we were stuck, things were not moving, things were closed, it really showed me how much time and energy I had that I was only using on work. So it was a good wake-up call about health. I think that's something I've learned to prioritize. When I was in my 20s, I used to work non-stop, barely sleep, barely eat, but it takes a toll. So I think that's something now I prioritize more. I try to be more intentional and conscious about. And then also relationships, because when you work as an entrepreneur, your schedule is so vast. It's not 9 to 5. The problems never end. It's up to you to have boundaries. It's up to you to say when you can and cannot do things. I've missed so many birthdays, so many weddings, baptisms, because I was at work. And that's something now I feel like I have to be more intentional about how I cultivate my relationships, what I say yes to, what I say no to, how I manage my time, my energy, I can do and what I can't do, because you don't want to be alone in life. You also have to invest and spend time with the people that are important to you, but you also have to learn how to filter how many people have access to you, because there's no limit to how many people will want to see you or want an opportunity or a job or a loan or advice. And so I had to learn how to say no specifically and how to say yes intentionally. So I don't say yes to everything and then I disappoint people. That will also hurt my reputation, but also to spend time with people who I want to spend time with. It's important to be a person at the end of the day. You're not a machine just designed to work. That's not what good is here for. So I think work-life balance is something that it's a constant challenge. It's a constant process to try and figure out where you are this season of life, where you're putting in more and where you're getting out more, where you can do better and where you're seeing the benefits.
And we appreciate you making time for us here at TJK and sparing meetings. I've participated in one of your educational platforms, Uketa. Specifically, tell us any hobbies. What are your hobbies? What does Nataliey do when you are winding down or have to just calm yourself down? What do you do? Yoga? Do you exercise? Do you hike? Do you jump?
I do like yoga. I do try to go for yoga as often as I can. I'm a big lover of music. I feel like having the right playlist can really change your mood. I read a lot. I think my refuge is reading. I like to read books, different kinds of books, people's life stories, fantasy books, business books, health books, psychology books, religious books. I lose myself in books, and that's where I find comfort. And because I'm such a curious person, I never run out of something that I want to know. So there's always books at my bedside, in my handbag, in the car, like all over the place. So anytime I have a free moment when I'm sitting in the salon, I'm always reading a book. And I think that has really helped me to always learn, to give you some variety, a break, a change, to see something from a different perspective. So that's what I would say is my number one hobby.
All right. I know we don't have much time, Nataliey, but we cannot live without talking about what is coming up. What are your future plans? What's exciting? Innovators like you do not stop. Give us a little bit light of what to expect in the future. What's in the future?
That's so true. I keep trying to tell myself, you have to stop taking on new projects. You don't have time. But you can't help yourself. Right now, what's exciting for me, working with the young people has been really, really fun. I feel like because I work with big established companies, I get to see things from different perspectives, like career side of things, to be an employer, the corporate structure, but also working with startups, with young women who have just started businesses. They're learning their side hustle, or their mothers who are making shea butter products at home or have a catering business. So spending time with entrepreneurs like that and seeing how you move them along the pipeline, that's really exciting for me right now. So we're signing up lots of partnerships for her and for Uketa, where I feel like the startup ecosystem needs to work more cohesively. There's so many programs, funders, mentors, but it's also scattered. So I'm trying to build these communities so that you can put these people in touch with each other. Because as a young entrepreneur, you need many different things. It's not just capital, which is what they all first think. You need a mentor, you need training, you need financial literacy, you need to know how to make the kinds of documents, bookkeeping, but you also need peers. You need a community to laugh with, to cry with, to ask questions. You need to attend events, go to conferences, listen to webinars, be inspired, and excited, listen to people who've walked this journey before you. So I'm trying to see where we can be of use, where we can plug in. The reason we started Uketa is because so many of the young entrepreneurs who are asking me for advice needed specific advice from specific coaches and experts. And it can't only be me, not just of time, but I'm not an expert at every aspect of business or any aspect of careers or for students. So I went and looked in my network and started getting coaches and putting people in touch. And when you say go online, go to Udemy or Skillshare or Coursera, there's a lot of barriers, with credit cards, with understanding American accents, with understanding the metaphors. You tell someone go on YouTube, but they don't really, the gap is so big with the Western world and like the average entrepreneur here who is working with $30, $40 equivalent of working capital. So that's why I'm trying to fill this gap by plugging and being that piece where it's relevant, it's affordable, it's accessible. A lot of the women who we work with are parents. They are caregivers. They can't sit in university classes for 3 years. Whether they can pay for it or not, they don't have the time, or they don't have the money, or they have other responsibilities, or a job. So we're trying to make these things short, quick, accessible. You get the knowledge, you get moving. Because what I've realized, it's not just about theory. Me, I love to go to school, but I get to practice what I'm learning constantly and putting it into place. So I feel like I'm trying to synthesize the last 10, 15 years of my life. What are the things that have helped me? And then when I look at the women and the young people that I interact with, what are the interventions that are going to make a difference in their life, that are going to give them more agency, more income, more ability, more capacity? And how do we give them those opportunities? So it's a lot of moving parts, but this is the field I'm trying to work in and learn more about, because Africa is such an exciting time for Africa. There's so much potential. There's so many young people. There's so many ideas. The amount of funding for fintech, every year we're moving forward. So I think it's a wonderful time to learn, to connect, to plug in, to see what's possible, and to give that opportunity to as many people as possible.
Well said, wonderful. And we are going to put all the links, as many different links to this innovation, strategy, coaching, mentorship. I've been sharing different nuggets each week. This week is on finding a job or starting your own business. And mentorship is the nugget I will be sharing today. We thank you, we appreciate you, and for making time. The last thing I ask everybody I host on this channel is, what advice would you give yourself when you are 18 to 21?
Oof, it's a hard question. I was very stubborn at that age.
For you, that is yesterday. So
I would say try everything. At that age, you don't know anything. And the problem is you think you know. Me, I was very difficult at that age. I thought I knew everything I wanted, and I was so smart and I could do anything. Yes. Try everything. Knowing the theory, reading about it, watching a TV show is not the same as doing it. Go, try it, do it, learn from it, ask questions. You don't have to be an expert at everything. But I think the experience is such a valuable thing in being young. There's so many situations I was forced into that I wouldn't have chosen, but I learned so much from them. So I would encourage my younger self to be more open to trying things yourself. Go there, work there for 2 weeks, work there for 1 month or 3 months, do an internship or volunteer or ask questions or show up. Just go and experience life. The more you experience, the more you soak up, the more wisdom you get, the more people you meet. And then that helps you later to filter and decide and work from your own knowledge and build your own judgment. What is good, what is bad? What do you want, what you don't want? What's taking you in the direction that you need? But without that in-person experience, everything is theoretical and nothing is tangible. So it's harder to make decisions. So that's what I would advise.
Wonderful. Thank you for that advice for young people who are 18, 21. My son Nicholas is in that category. He watches these religiously, or I make him watch them. And thank you for mentoring so many people. But most importantly, thank you for making time today. We appreciate you and thank you. Go continue innovating. For those of us who are still following, those of you who are following, subscribe, share, and share this with as many people. We'll put links here. We'll put LinkedIn socials for Nataliey. Doctor, thank you very much. We appreciate you and continue to be an innovator you are.